we go.
Brilliant. Well, hello everyone. Hope you can hear us. It is Pack Monday Fair here in Sherborne, and if you don't know what that is, I'm not entirely sure I can explain it to you. About it, which is vaguely interesting, but it's a unique thing. It happens once a year, and from the town's point of view, it's really nice. You go out, you have a look around. Don't think people don't see it for ages. It's a lot of fun. It is historically a really cheap and tacky market. Lots of here today, gone tomorrow type of things. And one of those things today is a Dolphin balloon. And one of those things from previous years is a Tardis teapot. So I thought I might try both. The Dolphin balloon is rather large and impressive. It's got a certain Hindenburg quality to it, which I like. So this is going to be a challenging picture. But I quite like the scale of it. I quite like the surrealness of it as well. That's something that I'm getting some pleasure from. So yeah, let's get cracking. This is going to be very interesting and quite fun. And there's going to be a lot of nothing in this picture as well. A lot of space. So just to start off, I think it's going to be portrait. I'm not even cleaning up the palette. I probably will in a moment, but actually to begin with, I'm just going to use up what's here. Got a bit of leftover black from a previous painting. I'm going to put that in the corner. Hopefully the music from the stall outside isn't going to spill over too much and flag up copyright warnings. If it does, all the interesting things I've said will be lost forever. Okay, so I had to adjust the lighting to get an interesting shadow. But yeah, this is going to be...
Well, you already had Skinflower music. Do you
Oh,
know that?
that's my friend Matthew White, who, as I've told you before, Graham, if you ever paid attention, honestly, Matt is the musician who makes the soundscapes that I use on my live time lapses.
That's the one. Yeah. You're right. Well done. 10 out of 10.
So I wonder if I identify the music playing outside, it'd be like giving it a credit or something, and they won't mind. This is Jackson. It's called. It's a famous version with Johnny Cash and I guess it was his partner or wife at the time.
That's just messages. Water bloke in kind of speech quotes rather than Aquaman.
Yes, that's it. Yes, water geezer, I think. Matt has a unique look, which it's nice to see. He's sort of really developed, especially with a sort of a front-facing Instagram channel where he shares some of his marvelous musical adventures. But he's sort of it's got a striking look in his way. I'm doing a bit of line drawing here, which sometimes I don't do. Sometimes I just go straight into shapes. The important thing is that I'm allowed to be wrong. We're all allowed to be wrong, aren't we?
Why have you decided to do that?
Because I want to see the outline of this thing, and I want to actually the lines contain the surprises. So if I can get the lines right, and also there isn't a particular idea that people have in their head of what a pink dolphin helium balloon looks like. So in a sense, there needs to be a bit of extra information just so that people can figure out what it is, because it's not like there's already an idea in their head of what it looks like, and whatever they do has to match with that. So this comes all the way to the expression on its face, which is rather fun. There you are, something like that. It's nice. Do a bit of measuring. It's good, isn't it?
Leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that sort of looks about right.
Is your phone plugged in?
Very good point. Thank you for reminding me of that. I thought it was. Has it gone wonky? Okay.
And Josie piped up. Hello, James and Graham.
Oh,
this looks interesting.
I'm glad you could make it.
Thanks for joining us, Josie.
There you are. All right. So, yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, come on.
Do you think that's done now? It sure has. There you are. So now I've got a little bit of his face on. I can think of this. Now, I may yet move all of this. You know, none of this is particularly permanent. But there's a bit of line drawing. Now I can go into doing a few shapes. There's something like that going around it. Oh, that's where the string's going to go.
It's quite an interesting shadow.
Which goes down. Now I can reinvent the length of the string and just introduce my teapot down here. But actually, I think I might shrink everything a little bit. Which is it's a tricky, but at the beginning is the time to do it before I'm committed to anything. Let's just see how well that works. As an idea. Yeah, that's quite funny, isn't it? But actually, let's do a bit of measurement. That's the balloon. Actually, this needs to be about halfway down. So it's not an awful lot of shrinking to go. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to move up this bit here. And that will bring in the size a little bit. And actually that'll be up there somewhere. I'll bring this up. And I'll bring this up. And this, something like that. Bring this in a bit.
So you're a fan of Pack Monday then, James?
I am. I think it's a good thing, and I like it for what it is. I think there's yeah, I mean it's one day a year. For anyone that complains about it, I'd say get over yourselves. You know, it's yeah. I think it's fun. I can understand, like, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a pain if you live on Cheap Street. But it's sort of like, it's almost like, I treat it like a snow day, you know? You know, it snows and everyone goes, oh, we can't do anything. Anything you had planned, it's not happening. It's sort of a bit like that.
I thought, just randomly changing conversation a bit, post-COVID, there will be no such thing anymore for kids as a snow day, because what with taking all the classes online, it's super easy to go online.
But is it though? Are they set up for that at a moment's notice?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
A school can just go, okay, we can't come in today. All your classes are online. You know how to do it.
I think so.
Oh, well,
I
that's
could be
depressing.
wrong, but
Yeah, no, kids need to have a bit of that, I think.
yeah, that was great. Oh, my snow days were amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I also like the days where I just decided not to go to school. But they were always fun. Um, but the most fun thing was doing it in a way that nobody noticed. I think there is a sort of a stigma, quite rightly, attached to kids bunking off. But it was usually because they'd be doing something that they thought was fun instead of going to school. But they never really knew how to deal with it if you were doing something that appeared to them less fun. You know, I mean, because there were our school, there were kids that bunked off by going to the library and working on something different to what they'd been told they were going to work on, and no one could ever really quite deal with that.
Maths says that snow days are a thing of the past unless the teachers are unable to or choose not to set homework. Same with any work involving the internet.
Oh,
Thank God I made
rubbish!
coffee here.
Yeah,
And now I'm so close, and walk in. Sort of sad that we've lost the base of Dolphin.
I will come back. Well, again,
She's always said it's going to be interesting to see how you get the shininess.
Yeah,
I don't lie, Josie. I was rather interested to see him turn up with a massive pink dolphin balloon. Oh, there we are.
yeah. Even the man who sold it to me seemed a bit surprised. I don't think I was.
It's that point you turn up without a child, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just want one of these.
No, it's just for me. It's still scales still off, and I need to manage that so I'm not put off later on, which I think I could probably manage.
I think as well we should get some audience participation of a name for said dolphin as well.
Oh yes, okay.
So, over to you guys. Answers on the back of the postcard.
Yeah, and if you can identify what kind of dolphin it was modelled on. Now, this is very interesting.
Keith, dolphin. Thank you, Matt.
It's a fine name. Okay, that's
I
all.
was expecting some clever puns to come in. That's like, I like the name Keith.
That's a good name. Straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although it yeah, there's a comedy to it as well, which I think people called Keith know about. It seems a bit mean. Playing Man of Constant Sorrow now. So yeah, I have to talk over that too. YouTube will remove the sound for this video. Oh no, you're not allowed to have that song playing on a radio outside your house, which has nothing to do with you. From the film "A Brother, Where Art Thou?" by Coen Brothers, which is a reimagining of the story, The Odyssey, Ulysses. Brilliant film. Highly recommend it.
On names of stuff, there is like. Have you ever seen or heard of the gritters in Scotland? Have you seen this?
No.
The gritters in Scotland, they name
Oh,
all of their
yes.
gritter trucks.
Yes,
So
no, I have
here
heard of
is
this.
that Skid Vicious,
Right.
Sweet Child of Brine. I
Oh,
like that. Blizzard of Oz, Calvin Harris.
okay, now you've lost me.
Calvin Harris.
Don't know who Calvin Harris is.
Sleepwood Mac. I really enjoy that. Spready Van Halen.
Oh, that's great. Yes, I like that one. Oh, this is already getting surreal and interesting. I'm liking this. Yeah, the blues are going to be fun because
Is there any chance that you could just move your iPhone camera just down a fraction so you're not
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
bottom of the... There we go, that's better.
it needs to be even further back, doesn't it?
That's cool.
I think it keeps yeah, you let go of it and it moves inwards. You know what I'm going to have to do? To adjust the whole thing a little bit.
That's better.
Yeah, come on. Get it to stay put. Something a bit like that. Yeah, it's a bit wonky. You can try and turn it and it adjusts. It adjusts the image. So it feels like I'm zooming in and zooming out. I'm actually just rotating it. So someone's made a clever thing going, oh, if someone's not holding it straight, we'll straighten the image for them. Well, I need to be able to turn it. It's so unhelpful. Right, sorry. And I'm calm. Yeah, everything's wonky. Oh well.
And there was the plastic floating the float face.
Yes. Yeah.
That is...
That's what happens if you ask the internet.
Yeah. It's amazing.
What on earth were they expecting? Really? Right. Well, I've got a record of this palette because I will be revisiting at some point. But put my greens over there where they go. Might be calling on them later. Along with this, I'm going to keep that with the lights. So actually, shouldn't have touched that. That was fine. Don't think that's going to come into it either. I'll leave it over here. Put the yellows next to it.
Should we do a bit of a tease for everybody? So hopefully you've been enjoying the last few live streams we've done with actual people where we've been chatting with them. Doing talking heads of Sherborne, and it seems to be coming on quite well.
Who have we got coming next, Graham?
Well, I couldn't possibly comment on who we've got coming next, but we have 6 or 7 in the pipeline who have all agreed and said that they are willing to come up and do it. I've got one that's booked in for, I believe it was the 4th of November.
Right.
Let's double check. Yes, we've got somebody on the 4th of November.
Well, did he say who it's going to be?
So we have Joe, who's going to come in. And forgive me, I don't know his surname. He's an ex-priest. And he's a very interesting chap. Lovely bloke to talk to. Really charismatic. So I think that's going to be a super interesting evening.
Okay.
When
When you say former priest, I mean,
no longer working as a priest.
right. I mean, am I going to have to? Is there a reason for that?
No.
Okay. Right.
No.
I'm just saying you've got to be careful with these things. Right, a retired priest. I would say retired priest.
Retired priest.
I wouldn't say ex.
He says former priest.
Well, there's connotations.
Yes, yeah, fair enough. So he's going to join us. It's super interesting. He comes into the shop quite a lot, and we have some really interesting conversations. He's super intelligent and a wonderful guy to talk to, and very open to any form of conversation which happens, which is really interesting.
What about if it's about the existence of God?
Yeah, he will
Can we
quite
get into
happily
that one?
sit and,
I love that conversation.
Yeah,
It's fun.
so that's going to be really cool. We have some other regulars in the shop. I mean, unsurprisingly, most of them are from the shop.
Really?
Yeah. It's, you know, unsuspecting prey and all that. You can attack them while you want your coffee. You've got to sit for a painting.
Well, I think some people will feel flattered and some people would immediately just balk at the idea. But I appreciate you.
There was one
Asking.
girl as well who I do know quite well, bless her, and I said to her, you know, you want to sit for painting, explain the whole thing, and she was totally in agreement, thought it was amazing. And then just as she took her coffee, and I was like, brilliant, cool, I'll text you. Picked up her coffee, went to leave, and I said, oh, you do realise it's naked? The shock in her face was amazing.
People always make this joke. Is that how you're coming onto women?
Oh.
Graham, really? Yeah. No, it's absolutely out of the question. I'm keeping my clothes on the whole time.
Yeah. I'm not. That's why the camera's not on me.
Okay. Yeah. At least you're wearing your bow tie.
Yeah. Just, why is it in the wrong place?
Still look very smart. Okay.
I'm back painted.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of a collecting myself. The next thing I'm going to be thinking of is colours, and I'm going to be thinking of those background colours. They're quite neutral, but I've got this pink and I've got this blue. So if I get a bit of those out first, it's very deep blue. Let's pop a bit of that out there. Actually, even put a bit of black in it. Let's pop a bit here at the front, just so I can see it. Well, it's reflecting a bit. There you go. This pink, this is pretty close to the sort of the flavour of the colour, but actually most of it's quite a bit darker than that. So, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Proud Mary. In case anybody wants to credit what's going on in the background. Tweening. Okay, so that's my darker pink, so that's my darker colours. I need something that either marries those together or works against them. I think something working against them. I've got this burnt umber over here, forming the skin already, which is very unwelcome. I'm going to put a bit of white in that. Burnt umber is actually kind of an orange colour. So these two make a kind of a purple. Then yellow is the opposite to that. I guess if I make it a bit orange as well. Yeah, that's quite nice. And it works quite well for the general colour. There's a shadow version of that as well, which I will make bluer. This is closer to the red. This is going to be closer to the blue. I might even use a bit of this green just to keep it away. Oh yeah. Now, I'm not 100% sure these are going to work, so I will splash these on first. And just scrub in some basic colour, really simple, use a bit of thinners, make sure it spreads out. And then if I need to add more colour later on, I may well do that. There's a bit of a negative space. I feel like I need to keep talking because otherwise the music will come through. And
It's not actually. I was listening on.
is that okay? Has it been gated out? Oh, good. I'll relax about it a bit.
Shouldn't keep talking.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. So Pack Monday. Pack Monday, the tradition of Pack Monday comes from when they finished the Abbey. I mentioned there were different stages when they finished the Abbey, but at the end of one sort of long stretch of building, where people would have possibly been living in the town for, about generations, but long periods of time. And then this job's finished, and there would have been a whole village of people who were working on the Abbey, and so they all got ready to move on out and move on to the next thing, presumably some other sort of grand project elsewhere. And is that too green? I feel like that might be too green. I might put some more warmth into that later, but in the meantime, and so they went through the town banging pots and pans and sort of announcing that they'd be selling all their stuff. So we still have people will walk the same route every year at midnight, the night before Pack Monday, on the Sunday night, banging pots and pans. That's called Teddy Rowe's band. Don't know who Teddy Rowe was, or whether it's just a sort of a name that was used to describe a bunch of people making a cacophony, or whether it's specific to that thing, or whether it got added on later. But either way, that's what it's called. And and then the next day, there's this big market. There's a fun fair at the top of town and all that kind of thing up in the terraces.
I think it's where people got invited to come and sell their wares.
Well, that would have happened later, I guess. But I guess a market's a market, isn't it? It should be much higher up. I don't know loads about it, but that's the origin of it anyway. I do know that.
It's culminated in pink peeling for dolphins and wolf fleece t-shirts.
Yes. Did anyone come in and claim a free copy with their wolf fleece t-shirt?
Yeah.
Impressive.
We had one girl that turned up in a wolf fleece, wolf t-shirt, and had a wolf blanket.
That's 3 free coffees, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd have thought so.
And a comment on our Facebook, on our Instagram page.
Right. Shadow shapes. Oh, that's fun. Put that green in there. So yes, it has, for as long as most people can remember, been just the worst kind of cheap tat ever. The meat man filling, well, God knows what, but doing all the patter for the crowd and lots to stand around and listen to. And it used to be people selling sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, in the same way, the big open-sided van with all of these coveted goods, interior stuff, pots and pans, electrical goods, all that kind of stuff, all with completely unrecognisable brand names. All presumably doomed to break within 2 days. Oh. I don't know what's happening there.
We had quite a fun day today,
Good.
though. Really enjoyed it.
And you are quite easily pleased, aren't you, Graham?
Yeah, it was that much.
Yeah, I did go out and have a look around. Well, I had an unexpected visitor, Steve, who sat in that chair for a while. He was popping in on his way back from Essex, and had no idea that it was Pack Monday today. It wasn't a deliberate visit. It just happened to be travelling back today. So I'm on the Waterloo line. Thought I might stop up and say hello. And yeah, I didn't do much to prepare him for what he was going to see. Right. Whack and wheel. I can't remember who did it. Okay, I've got some shapes in now, which is quite fun. Before I get too caught up in getting all the background on, it's a bit light around here. Need to get some of this blue on. So my Tardis Teapot was a Pack Monday buy. It was unpainted. I think there was one bit of decorations. They were originally meant to be decorated. Then presumably there was some kind of threat of legal action. And that was the end of that. And then someone ended up getting a job lot of these things, which they're, selling off the back of a lorry, which is how they end up at Pack Monday Fair, I guess. And so I started to paint it up myself. So I put the windows on with some enamel paint. For a teapot, which doesn't, obviously, just get rinsed, it's absolutely fine. So I don't think it's dishwasher proof or anything, but who knows. So let's try a bit of this blue, shall we? Let's just using the same brush here. I'm just blocking in shapes, just scrubbing it in so I can see how it looks together. That's probably not dark enough. There we go. A lot of blue right there. Yeah, actually I'm shrinking it slightly because it is a tiny little thing compared to the enormous balloon. I'll get into some detail later on. That's the spout. That's going to sort of go there somewhere, which makes that. Yeah, that's about right. I'll go back into the black paint there. A bit of blue in it just to keep it in keeping. Now this is a recently reprimed canvas, and I don't think the paint's actually completely cured yet, but it doesn't be a problem.
What does that mean?
Paint has to cure. There's drying, which is where it might not feel tacky anymore or whatever, but there's also curing where it hardens and forms a sort of a solid structure. And yeah, possibly that hasn't happened yet. There we are. Okay, need a bit of light on that. That's going to be part of this colour. bit of this back. Ah, too much. Burnt umber. Tiny tad of the green. Yeah, so it's interacting a little bit with the paint I'm putting on. I'll use a bit of thinners here and just spread that out. So I really like the tiny little teapot at the bottom of the picture. Just going to straighten this up because it's annoying me. Unless it's right in front of the canvas, I'm never going to get it straight. And turning the tripod is never going to help it. There we go. You see it's sort of lifting a bit here as well. Fine though. Okay, last bit is the pink. And again, this is just for a general flavour. Absolutely not the finished colour, but there you go. Oh, that tail's going to be in a completely different place. That's the thing I'm just figuring out. So the local radio station are also putting on live acts on a little stage around the corner. I'm getting a mix of all of it coming through my windows, which frankly drives me a little bit insane. I really like more than one source of music at one time. Does my head in a bit, but there you go. There we go. Good buddy Holly.
Anything else you got to promote at the moment?
No, I don't think.
How are the sign up for the art courses?
Oh yeah, they're all underway. That's going well. A little bit. Yes, I realised I probably need to have like a year planned in advance. That's what any normal person would do. But it doesn't tend to happen with art courses because people who can run art courses are not the sort of people who plan things a year in advance. The sort of things that people who plan things a year in advance are usually completely inept at anything creative. So, if you've got that rare combination, there's nothing to get in your way. I'm having to find a way to kind of invent that way of being for myself, which is going to involve getting other people to help me. I'm very grateful to have. Oh, that's way off. What is that doing? Still not the right colour. But actually no, it'll be all right for there. Yeah.
Quite nice to have a bit of colour to it in the background.
Well, yeah. If you're a person who likes hubbub, hubbub's a good word.
I was just thinking that. I like the word hubbub.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't escalate into a brouhaha, right? You have to be okay. Yeah, there's some interesting designs on this dolphin, which are not particularly in keeping with normal dolphin anatomy. Oh, here we are. Yeah.
Are there any pink dolphins in the world?
Ask me that again.
Are there any pink dolphins?
What do you think?
There might be.
Blend in with the flamingos, maybe.
Right, exactly.
I'm just going to make a guess, right? I mean, I'm not a marine biologist.
Town words, sir.
And there's a pink dolphin, is there?
The Amazon River dolphin, also known as the pink river dolphin.
That's it. I was overconfident, and now I'm humiliated.
This feels good. I
would say that level of guesswork would normally not work out. How pink is it?
That was pretty pink.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God, that looked weird. It looked like a pig. It looked like a weird swimming pig.
You went for a pig, I went for a ball sack, but you know. Yeah, it's pretty pink.
Well, I could just shut up then. You know what? I had that slight panic voice in my head when I was in contact. I thought, no, of course there's no such thing as a pink dolphin. I'd have heard of a pink dolphin by now. After this long on the planet, someone would have gone, do you know that? I mean, I know yak's milk is pink. Why has no one ever mentioned a pink dolphin? Why have I never seen a pink? Why are people going around going, do you know dolphins could be pink? Look at this thing. No, never happened. Bizarre. Where's the David Attenborough commentary? Look at this bloody thing. It's pink. Who'd have thought it?
The scientific name of Inia geofrensis. Lives in South America. In water, obviously. Just sitting down.
Complaining about the heat. It's roasting. Well, how do I feel about these colours? I can make a judgment now. I think my shadow colour needs to be darker. So I'm going to mix up a whole chunk of that. Just going to be a bit of that. A bit of Viridian. A tiny bit of white so I can see what the hell it is. Got some lighter.
We've just exercised what's a great thing in humanity, in that we have Google that we can search and come up with these answers.
Yeah.
But that removes out the just sort of normal dialogue that we would have with it. So is it a good thing? Because
I still don't believe there's a pink dolphin. Show me a picture.
You want a picture? Yeah, I'll show you a picture.
My brain won't accept it. I mean, I don't really doubt you. I believe you're going to show me a picture of a pink dolphin, but only when that happens will I be able to believe it. Oh, that's... My God.
Do you know what I mean?
Are you sure that isn't an April Fool's joke?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Why have I never seen a pink dolphin? It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, it looks like a happy fella. Yeah.
Looks like a...
Also, that's right.
Well, I'm not going to comment. That's just the weirdest thing. But I'll never be confident about anything in my life ever again. That's actually shaken the foundation of my entire belief system. Can't rely on anything anymore. It's actually quite upsetting to me. I feel like someone's messing with reality. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go, of course there's no such thing as a pink dolphin. I can't believe I believed that in my dream. But no, I think I'm really here. Who knew that there was a pink dolphin? Everyone's just Googling pink dolphins now. So that's my light colour, but that needs to be greener as well. I need to get some more green now. Oh, I need some neutral music to put on to drown it out, but then it'd just be this cacophony of noise. Ah, it's lighter. Should it be lighter though? I think it should be lighter. It doesn't have to be that light though. Okay. Is the music coming through on the
No.
If I'm not talking, does it go quiet on the
Yeah,
meter?
it's good. Quiet.
All right, that's good. That's pretty much the same. Still needs to be greener. Oh, I'll borrow a bit of this. Oh, it's too pale. It's way too pale. I'll put a bit down there. Yeah, let's just use up all of that green. Fine. Get a little bit of medium in there as well. I think I'll use some liquid. Find what it is.
What were you after?
Liquid.
Liquid.
Liquid. It's alkyd medium. There it is.
I know you just said what this is, but what is it?
Alkyd is a kind of resin, so it's still spirit based, which means you can mix it with oil paints. Oh God, it's all gone off. Okay, I'm using oil. I've used a little bit of safflower. God, I just saw that. Now I don't know where that is. There it is. Yeah, it's a medium, so you can get alkyd paints as well, and it's because it's a resin, so it dries, cures differently. Actually, cures much more quickly than normal oil paint, which is usually linseed oil based. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a result, you can kind of, but it does the same kind of thing to improve flow, which is what this is doing right now.
Are you still going to make the shadow darker, or are you using lighter paint around it to bring out the darkness?
Well, yeah, I'll try and get this in first. Some of that green is going to come back in, create a sense of more light on one side than the other. Same kind of thing here. Yes, I think I might. I think I might do.
I don't know how you're feeling at the moment, but we are coming up to the
Yeah.
hour point.
Okay, I'm just going over my edges now. Bit that in. Yeah, breaking some more of these edges so I can sort of re-establish the outside of this shape afterwards. So there's a hole in the canvas there, so I'm just going to cover that up with paint. And I think I'm going to come back in with a bit of palette knife later on. So yeah, it's funny, I can see the colour harmonies now. What I haven't got is a presence of paint, but I've only got, once this is sort of balanced up, I've only really got 2 bits of painting to do. I've got the teapot, which is only a tiny little bit here, and I've got the balloon, which is obviously more like a 12 by 16 painting. See, that's too green, and that needs a bit of crimson in it, and I'm not going to do that with a knife.
It's very, very small though, that blue box, but hugely important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's the anchor. It's the thing holding the whole thing together. Everything goes back to it.
And actually, it's kind of quite fitting. It's the anchor that's holding the balloon in place.
Well, yes, exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's why we use that word.
Such a backhand.
Ballast. Let's call it ballast. I didn't mean that. I think I did use it sort of more unconsciously. Like I said, I'm never going to be confident about anything ever again. Now that there's a pink dolphin, I don't even know who I am anymore. This is so upsetting.
Actually, I quite like the irony that we're here celebrating Pack Monday because of the completion of a section of the Abbey. And the bell haven't chimed for 8 o'clock.
Yeah, need to go back and fix it again.
Yeah.
It's clearly not finished. Called it too early. There we go. If you can hear the song that's playing in the background, which hopefully isn't really travelling across. Whenever I hear it, I think there's a drunk man singing along with it, because, well, it's the sort of song drunk men like to sing along with, but it's also sung by a man who sounds like a drunk man singing along with the song rather than the actual singer, which I always find quite amusing. It's done no harm to their success. I think it's just a style, really, but you know, probably very unfair to say that. Not that I could do any better. There you are. Okay, so that's pretty much the background done now. Soften some of those edges. Ta-da! Right. I'm going to blue a version of that, so I've got a bit left. Tardis might be right in it. Yeah, let's get that blocked in. I want this to be level as well. Do something to measure it. That's all right. So yeah, it's funny. The surface is reacting slightly different because the harder I work into it, the more it sort of agitates the uncured paint on the surface. But the paint I'm putting on will, where it mixes in, will actually form a harder paint film over time, I hope. Seeger. Yeah, so where this gets less blue, I want it to get even darker. I might use a bit of pure brown just to create that heavy shadow just there. Even a little bit of alizarin in there. See what that does. Yeah, it looks even darker now. That's that blue. It's more purple around here. There's a whole generation that can't hear this Bob Seger song without thinking Tom Cruise dancing around this plant. It's frankly an unwelcome image, but there was a film, I don't know if you know it, but it's all news to you. You're still looking at pink dolphins on the internet.
No, I was listening.
Can't remember the name of the film now. There you go. Well, like I said, other people can't hear the music that's playing through the window.
Yeah, I was just checking that, and you can't when it turned up. So.
Oh, that's good. Well, Bob's copyright is safe then.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to need some more fluid paint. Maybe in a softer brush when I come back to this. So yeah, now I've got that dark on there. And that red, I want a more purple version of that. Use a bit of this blue. Okay, put some of these darks in here, just let them settle in. Ah. Mm. Okay, I'm being overly fussy about this now. We'll relax a bit with it. I'm sort of committed to the drawing now, even if it isn't absolutely spot on, which it might well not be. There's a little bit of dark in there. It's actually going to get brighter there. A little bit dark in the front corner. But there, coming down from the top. Yeah, some of these frilly bits. Some of them disappear afterwards. Yeah, it's not really flowing, but it will. There you are. Pink dolphin. What the hell? Is the thing I'm very familiar with. The older you get, the more you realise you don't know. But you don't expect one of those things to be a pink dolphin.
That's a massive curveball, isn't it?
I thought I was getting used to the level of ignorance I could expect from the future, but no, it's just going to get so much worse based on that. You know, all those things you've spent your whole life knowing, all of them are wrong. Every last one of them. Can't believe anything anymore. You know how you thought you were remotely capable of anything at all? You're not. You're an idiot. You're lucky you're not being kept in a cage like a zoo animal. Sometimes feel a little bit like a zoo animal. A lot of what I do is really about sort of a display. It's entirely self-inflicted. I can't complain about it. But it does look like a pig, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Right. I've been doing it all with one brush so far as well, which is an interesting approach. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll have tons of brushes on the go, as you've probably seen. Shall we have a little break and we'll return for extra pinkness on this dolphin?
Right, we should be back in a few minutes. Yeah.
Few times.
It is. Hello, and we're back.
Hmm. Oh, my palette's a bit of a mess, but I know what's going on. He says, vaguely. I vaguely know what's going on. I'm going to mix up a load of colour now.
Nice.
This is going to be fun. I think I might lay it on thick with this one. I think it seems to be going that way. Get a bit more of that. Burnt umber. That's too light. Yeah, that's okay. I need some more green. Scattering paint everywhere. And raw umber. Oh, that's come off. Oh. Let's come off this. Permanent rose. Yeah. Oh, actually, that'd be a good colour. Obviously being suggested to me by the universe. A bit more alizarin. It's going to go everywhere. Yeah. I really ought to have a trolley. But I have to move my paint around a lot. And you think we're going to need the yellow. Right. There it is. Actually, it's not Viridian, it's Taylor Signing Green. Which is even more transparent than Viridian. And what else am I going to need? While I'm mooching around. Yellow ochre, no. Mixing white? No, I don't think so. No. On today. Ah, now here we are. That's magenta. Windsor Violet, that's the one. This will come in useful too. When it comes to the pinks on this balloon, and especially when they're mixing with white. And that ribbon. Okay, so I put some of these darks on here. I'm going to sort of bring them into it a bit. So there. Spread them out. Just they're not spreading at all. Yeah, breaks it up a bit. It's not spatula madness this time. Very controlled spatula time. What was that? Oh yeah, let's pop a bit of green in that. That's different bits of background colour. Very dark on the palette. Looks a lot lighter when it goes on. A bit of this green.
Is that to do with the fact that it hasn't cured?
No, it's to do with perception. If you put something on a black background, it looks light.
Yeah, okay.
If you put something on a white background, it looks dark. It's all context. all colour is context, really. Well, tone is all context, and colour is a part of that whole system. Every colour has a tone, and quite often a surprising one. So there is a darkest and lightest colour. So that's just gone. This is madness. Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad it's not coming over the microphone, but I'm being treated to a real hit parade here. One surprise after another. Not happy with this, and I've some other paint somewhere. I keep feeling this sort of pressure to work faster or, you know, rush stuff really, and I do it. Take as much time as I need to get it right. Yes. Even if that means wandering around trying to find a tube of paint.
I love the fact that the artist in his studio is trying to find a particular thing.
It's, yeah, don't remember, I had it. Maybe it went back in the bag. Maybe it's all, is it already up here? Is it one of these? No. So this one, here's this one. There you are. We're going to use this up now.
So, like, here's a question, which you're probably going to go, well, that's a stupid question.
No, it's no stupid questions, only stupid people.
So you've got lots of paints that are in different sized tubes.
Yeah.
Is that because they're rarer materials within the paint, and so therefore smaller amount? Or is it that you don't use them as often? Or is it that that's just the size that you decided to buy?
That is a good question. There's lots of reasons why you buy different sized tubes of paint. So the larger tubes of paint I buy because they're regular colours I use all the time, and I know I'm not gonna use them. I know I'm gonna need plenty. A smaller tube of paint I might buy because I only use it as a tint, and especially if it's more expensive. The bigger the tube of paint, the more chance it has of wastage, as in it drying out.
If you don't use it quick enough.
And yeah, exactly. And if you only use a little bit, then a small tube of paint in certain colours can last you a very, very long time. And there's a hardened tube of paint. It's a very sad thing. It's like a cup of tea gone cold. You feel a bit bereft. Right. But I also have tubes. So the other reason to buy smaller tubes is if you're moving them around. So if you want a set,
so you're taking your paints somewhere to paint.
Yeah, so to lug around, 200, 250 mil tubes of paint, for a painting session, that can.
All right, then second sort of potentially stupid question. Again, no such thing as a stupid question, just a stupid person that asks it. Is there a finite number of paints you can buy?
Well, yes.
So I mean, say for instance, is burnt umber that you have there?
Yeah.
Is there? Are there? Is there like an industrial standard in amongst the paint world?
No, not really. There is with pigments. So you know, to be burnt umber, it needs to be earth from that region of Italy, which has been sort of treated in that particular way to make it go that colour. I mean, with earth colours, it's probably less precise. But I mean, if you take another colour like cadmium red, real cadmium red is made using cadmium, and cadmium is a heavy metal which can be reacted in different ways to make different strong colours. So you can get strong yellows, you can get, you know, crimsons, you can get different things depending on its chemical composition, but it's the presence of the cadmium that gives you that ability to make those pigments. I'm overworking this now. But you can make the same hue without using any cadmium at all, using other reds, usually by mixing them together in different proportions. Sometimes with cheaper reds, red pigments, or sometimes just for the point of it being safer. And that would be labelled cadmium red hue, which means it's not actually cadmium red, but it's the same hue. It's the same stop on the colour wheel. Probably won't be quite as potent or as bright. Won't have the same sort of hit. Sometimes it uses, you know, other pigments that are, you know, pretty much as good. The tricky thing with that, so I'd rather relabel something like that. So there are some paints I use which would be bad Leroy Brown. Sorry. There are some paints I use which are labelled hue, but I know what the pigment is, and they've used another pigment. So I think there's a Scarlet Lake hue that Winton make, which is actually Napthol red. And if you bought Napthol red in the professional thing, you'd pay a bomb for it. Exactly the same pigment goes into this other one because they've got it, and it makes the hue, so it makes the same hue. So so they label it like that, but you know, obviously because it's this hue, it has to go into the cheaper paints. But they want to make a cheaper paint that's a hue, and they don't want to use the actual Scarlet Lake. So they, you know, and it's not anything like Scarlet Lake at all anyway. It's opaque for a start, which is fundamentally different.
But do you always use the same brand of paint?
Well, I use different brands for different colours.
And is this just after experience with using them that you feel that they work best together?
Yeah. So sometimes, ultimately, paint is just it's a pigment delivery method. You buy paint and you're really buying pigment, but you're buying it ready mixed, which is a whole problem you don't want to have. In terms of, yeah, I mean, actually mixing the paint up with the medium. It's been the bane of artists' lives for centuries, up until the late 19th century, where they started selling it ready mixed in tubes. And that was a great relief to everybody. It allowed Impressionism to exist, because until you could buy it in tubes, you couldn't go out painting live unless you had a whole team of people helping you. And probably lots of pre-mixed, often bladders. They'd mix a bladder of paint. So they'd kind of make their own tube, but, you know, the tube was preempted by, once you'd mixed a load of paint, you could put it into a bladder and squeeze a bit out at a time. So that was already happening, but it wasn't very transportable. It didn't have a nice screw-top lid you could put back on.
Vegetarians out there.
Oh, yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know if it was like actually animal parts, but they'd call it a bladder, because that's the purpose it served. Yeah, these are interesting questions. Oh, That's a nice bright pink there. The alizarin's going to do a nice job with this. It's a pretty good colour for what I'm getting there. Around it are other colours, and I'm going to have to be careful with that. There's a bit of reflection from the background. There's a bit of... Oh yes, there's these browns in here as well, these reflections of what's below. And they're almost exactly the same as the dark colour. Sorry, I became distracted and stopped answering the question. Yeah, paint's just a way of delivering pigment. So if I want a load of cadmium red pigment, I'll buy a tube of cadmium red. If I want the good pigment, because that makes a difference, then I'll buy the good one. There's other things that come into consideration, like the way it's mulled. So some brands grind up the pigment a lot finer, and you get a creamier paint, but which is more what's the word? It's sort of yeah, it's more intense looking in terms of the way the colour, how it presents itself, but you can't use it thickly in the same way. There's some paints which are quite coarse, you know, and some paints which are sort of more coarse depending on the pigment and across the brand. So yellow ochre will frequently be quite gritty.
Does it state on the tube when you're buying it as to the extent it's been ground, or is that just something that you feel?
No, and this is the other thing. So there's other stuff which is you've got a load of pigment which is basically a dust. You'll mix oil with it until it's at a good consistency, a fairly even consistency. That amount of oil will change from one pigment to another depending on the granule shape and how finely it's ground and all that kind of thing. So you'll get very different. How would I put it? Yeah, you'll get different intensities, or you get a different amount of pigment per dollop. Right. So some pigments are going to have a very strong tinting strength. Some and the pigment load can change. So if you've got something with a low tinting strength with a high pigment load, it sort of compensates for itself. If you've got a low pigment strength with a low tinting strength with a low pigment load, you're going to have a very weak colour. If you've got a high tinting strength and a high pigment load, it's going to obliterate everything in its path. You've got to be really careful with it. And so getting to know that is probably more important. And having consistency, so you know what you're getting and you know how it's going to affect what you're doing. That's quite important, that predictability. This alizarin crimson I use, like most alizarin crimsons, it's very transparent, very fine. It's almost like a dye. Very strong pigment load, has a powerful effect on anything you put it in. So frequently I'll make a weaker version of it. Sometimes using oil if I want to keep the darkness, sometimes using white, which is kind of what I've done there. Use a little bit of white here, keep it dark. This is where I might use mixing white as well, because the tinting strength is lower. It's a bit more purple. That's pretty good though. I want that purple in places.
This is beautiful,
Isn't it? You have to be careful with purple. You don't want to go too strong. But seeing this as a pink dolphin balloon, I can probably get away with it. Can't believe there's such a thing as a pink dolphin. I'm actually genuinely cross about it, and at the same time astonished. And it's wonderful to find out, and I'm mildly humiliated, but that's not new. I'll get over that. I was so ready to rip into you about it as well.
It's almost like you're clearing your throat just for the onslaught.
No, but I mean, I wasn't. I mean, I said look it up. I would put my head in my hands when you said you were going to look it up. And then at the same time, at that moment, I thought, he's going to find a pink dolphin, isn't he?
It's enough that that's going to be it.
You'd think you'd know. You'd think you'd have come across that. It actually fills me with hope that there's new and exciting things. there's a certain point in life where you go, oh, everything I've done it all once. You know, there's nothing new to be found out here. There's, you know, anything I'm going to do, I've already done for the first time. And actually, it turns out that's not true. So that's genuinely exciting.
Whether we go, if we go back to the pigment
Yes, sorry.
manufacturing and stuff, it may not be something that you kind of know even / care about, but I mean, is there a in the kind of what I'm trying to say in the paint creation world, is there quite a lot of geeking out in terms of, you know, oh, it's this granular?
There is, but not where people are actually any good at it.
Okay.
It's not a blanket.
Is there a similarity between
I was going to say it's a bit like the
painting and
coffee thing.
coffee? You know, is the grinding is such an
It's a
important
bit
part.
like, I tell you where I see it is music. It's interesting. Chat to Paul last week. If you find the people who are the most into their hi-fi systems and then look at their taste in music, you'd go, it doesn't matter what kind of hi-fi system you have, this is awful. You know, there's a ooh. Oh, I don't know if there's something in there. Warm that up a bit.
Just butting with you there that Eve True on YouTube have just said very Coonsian subject.
Yes, I was talking about. There's lots of very shiny things out in the market today, and I did earlier say that Jeff Koons would well, he'd have a
Field day.
or a fit. I don't know. I mean, it's a funny thing, but yeah, there is the kitsch is very well represented out there, and this is one example of it. But there's finer examples. Oh, unbelievable! Yeah, but yes, thank you for noticing. I still don't know really how I feel about Jeff Koons. Are you familiar with him? Modern artist. Very interested in the kitsch. Does
It works a lot with shiny metallic stuff.
Yeah, shiny balloon-shaped objects. Really, actually, they're absolutely right. It's quite a Jeff Koons thing. But you know, like there's a very famous chrome poodle he did, but he's very obsessed with the idea of kitsch, with the idea of sort of low popular taste. You know, the sort of yeah, I guess it's quite an American thing, isn't it? Like flash before substance or something. But yeah, at the same time, it looks like he's being a bit imperious about it, like he's looking down on it, like he's having a laugh at the people who like that kind of thing. And actually, I don't know. He's just, a lot of the time he just seems to regurgitate something. They say an artist should hold up a mirror to the world. Well, his is a very high fidelity mirror sometimes, and it's not really. Yeah, it's not really. It's not really showing us anything new. You know, you go like you go anywhere and see that actual thing. Like, how's that? It's not telling us anything about it. I mean, people accuse Andy Warhol of the same thing. You know, if you just parrot back to the world what it says, you haven't added anything to it. You haven't offered an insight. You haven't put in a subtle change that reveals something to people. And you could accuse Jeff Koons of that, but yeah, I don't know. Who am I? I'm insignificant painter sat drawing pictures of things in their little studio. And he's an important international art swindler. So yeah, maybe I should shut up. Well, actually, the good thing, the reason I like being small and insignificant, is I can say rude things about people like Jeff Koons and nobody sues me because it just doesn't matter. So yeah, he's a swindler, a crook, and a charlatan. But you have to admire that. I mean, in a sense, there's a lot of art that's been based around that. talking about Andy Warhol, a big part of what he did was, yeah, a form of charlatanism, but in this orchestrated, deliberate way. And because it was so deliberate and orchestrated, you had to let it go, really. You had to go, yeah, well, I guess that's what he's doing, you know. You know, the swizz is the artwork. Oh, now this is interesting. It's where this red warms up. This is where I really enjoy painting, because it's telling me something new that's in the wrong place. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we are. All right. Shouldn't have gone there. There we are. Pink. There we are.
Chuckling at the music outside.
Actually, I was chuckling at the act of painting a pink dolphin balloon.
Yeah, well, in terms of sort of reflection of, yeah, the kind of metallic, perhaps one week we should paint a mirror. You should paint a mirror that's kind of looking back somewhere in the room. So you, it's where you tell me, what a stupid idea, get back in the box.
No, well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you have to move around a mirror to deduce what's going on with it. Right?
One of the things that I would suggest anybody to try and to just go and do, if you want to wear it away, 15, 20 minutes of your life that you'll never get back, but you'll have good fun in the process.
You don't. That's not a thing that happens anyway.
But
there isn't other time that you do get back. So, sort of a redundant statement. Carry on.
But look at. Have a look at people selling mirrors on eBay.
Oh yes,
that's great.
Yeah, you can make some terrible mistakes with that. If you are going to sell a mirror on eBay, make sure you put some trousers on first.
Yeah. I really like the ones that
before you photograph it.
They put a white sheet over themselves and then photograph it straight on. Just with the arm out and the camera. Yeah, it's good fun.
All my exes live in Texas. Wow, this is interesting. Very dark around here. I don't want to get too carried away. No. So yeah, the shine isn't there yet. This is coming soon. And get a little bit lighter here. Inside of this. Actually, let's go with the real lights first. And the tricky thing is there's different coloured designs on this. Yeah, I'll do a pinker one now.
This is for me where it becomes quite interesting in that the shine on what we're seeing on the screen isn't exactly what you see. So there's sort of like discrepancies that start coming in.
Well, that's... Yeah, I wonder if it will work for this bit.
Oh, apparently we can get some cheap viewers on Stream Boo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
Great, isn't it?
You know what I'd really like is some cheap viewers. That would really transform my life for the better. I'm so delighted they bothered to get in touch to tell me that. Because you know what? This is really all about the fame and fortune for me. The more viewers I have, the better. I just love it. I love it when people who have no particular interest hang about, you know, chipping in.
You seem to describe my role sitting here.
No. No, well, actually, no, I haven't had that problem. But if I had hundreds of viewers who just sort of weren't particularly interested in it, well, what would be the point of that?
Exactly.
Yeah, I have in the past. Oh, I shouldn't have touched that. Rather enjoyed. I wouldn't say baiting, but certainly engaging with scammers. And yeah, especially with the whole social media thing. You post a picture and all these people contact you saying they want to buy it. And I've realised if you're not sure if someone's a scammer or not, just say, oh, which picture was it? And they'll send you a photo of the picture that, you know, they're supposedly talking about. And you can go, oh, I'm sorry, my screen's broken at the moment. I'm on voice command. Can you describe it to me? And they can't, because that's, for whatever reason, the thing they're working with, the way they're working, you know, means that they can't see the picture, or it's AI, or whatever it might be. And yeah, from that point, you can be confident that they're not real, and then, you know, it makes you feel a lot better about it. Because the idea that someone might genuinely be in contact and you're, yeah, giving them a tough time because you think they're a scammer is sort of, well, it feels a bit bad. You don't want to be doing that. But once you know they're, yeah, they're not genuine. Okay, I'm really cranking up the colour here. Yeah, let's turn that up.
But Eve True again saying, good luck with those crazy colours. It's inspiring to squeeze something interesting out of those things that people find dull.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like the banal, although this is actually a bit more interesting than normal. If you want to see dull, check out some of my other live streams. Wow, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff I've managed to make interesting for myself. Somehow nobody else, but you know. Yeah, exciting to me. No, I think there's a thing to that. It's things being interesting isn't about the things themselves, it's about your attitude towards them. You can become bored of almost anything. I think sort of the modern sort of glut of entertainment has proved that. People can be watching a film that people would have queued for 2 days to see at the cinema 20 years ago, and now they can't watch it without checking their phone. Because it's, you know, it's just nothing's interesting enough, and it's not the fault of the people. It's just how how the stakes have been set up. I think that's interesting. Right, I'm going to get the second brush out now. Staying with a decent sized brush. I'm going to go into my browns here. So, how dark does that get? Oh, quite dark. While that's happening, a few sort of bits. Again, might have to mix more of this, but it might work as it is. That's too dark. There's a few
Well, it's
hints.
9 o'clock, but it's saying on here that we were 19 minutes late starting.
Oh, right, okay.
So we've got
19 minutes to go.
Yeah.
That's terribly exciting, isn't it? Have I started taking longer on the live streams? I think that is possible.
No, I don't think you've taken longer. I mean, you did with Paul.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That went over a little bit. But no, other than that, we've kind of gone to the 2 hours. But it is saying that we've only been live for an hour and 42 minutes. So we must have been a little bit late. Oh, we know we were a little bit late.
Yeah. Save the last dance for me. I really want to sing along.
Well, surely you can do that on YouTube. So that's like.
Oh, yeah, I could. I'm just pretty certain that everybody would go, oh, God, don't do that. And,
I thought you were meaning in terms of copywriting.
oh, no, I do feel completely at liberty to join in with Save the Last Dance for me. What a track. But, yes, I think for everyone's benefit, I'll resist. Now, there's some interesting things to find later on. One of which this is sort of brown here. All right, it's orange. I need to save some room for the brightest lights when they do turn up. Pale orange colour there. Get a few more of those. Now, back to the darks. Somewhere in between the two. Okay, this is working. A little bit of yellow in it. No, not dark enough. Very confusing. On the road again. More green, though. No. Well, this is a very tricky colour to mix.
If you are mixing on a palette, it's all about worth switching the camera back on.
Oh! No idea that had gone off. Yeah.
So I'm quite excited to see how you will put the friendly pink dolphin face on Keith.
Is that what he's called now?
Well,
Is that stuff?
nobody else piped up, so
I guess he's
he
Keith then.
is.
Fine name for a dolphin.
Keith the pink dolphin.
Okay. Now I can take this colour and I can brighten it. And there's places where it definitely needs brightening. Like here. Especially get an extra bright one. Just there. And here. Okay, anywhere else? Okay, it's starting to turn into a balloon now. It's really weird how it happens really gradually. I need a really light version of that pink. Oh, and a really red version of that red. Let's do those first. Let's see if that works. So along here. A few really, really red bits. Where else? Looking around for other places where that goes. Along here. Not quite as bright. Bit under there. A bit under there. A few highlights in here. Ooh, cheeky. Get away with that. I think I did. You see it starting to appear. It's so interesting, isn't it? Let's do a few of these pinks as well. A bit there. Oh, is that too much? I'm going too soon here. Yeah, let's do some of these first. Let's get some of that in. Some angles and things here. Now, in some highlights, they're actually going to be a lot bluer, which is also going to be interesting. I like pink in there. Hey. I'm very much enjoying my okay. Borrow a little bit of blue here. It's the violet. I'm going to need the violet. Hmm. Ow. So I haven't opened that for a while. So let's see what Windsor Violet does. And I might get another brush. How long now? We nearly at 2 hours.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes we can have some fun with. Oh, look at that.
Ooh, that's a nice shade.
Too light. We've gone with the dark first. Oh, that's not the right place. Now this will make a very crisp and bright purple. Get to the red side. It's still not bright enough, I think. A little bit of permanent rose. See what it does. Oh, there we are. That's the colour.
That's a really important line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any deviation from it being strict, it then isn't a floating balloon.
Yeah. And even leave a little gap around it just to accentuate its directness. You.
Oh, it's at 95.
It is 95. Good old Dolly. That's going to get through the microphone, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think so. What if you start soon?
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm resisting that. Ah, shouldn't have fiddled with that. That was fine before. are. Okay. This is where the light really comes out. Absolutely crank it here. I still want to make deliberate marks. I don't want to be making splodges. There we are. So this is where it will start popping. Yeah. Just doing it. Look of light there. A bit down there. Pull some prison blues. Ah, here we are. So I've done this whole painting with very few brushes. I didn't really needed them. There you are. Get some of that really deeper red in a few places it needs to go. I think nearly there. Yeah. Yeah, darker. Some of that violet might be useful. I think they're pretty close now. Yeah, that brown. We can put that in a few places, like here and here. Probably a little block there. That's fine. Ah, back to my violet. And that pink. Oh yeah. Like that. Yeah, that's a little bit of that shine coming through now. I know, I'm fiddling with it now. Let's get that blue on there. Again, it's got a bit of the violet in it. Let's do his little stupid grin. It's silly, isn't it? Uh, Okay, I'm definitely over fiddling now. Let's just get this teapot in, shall we? We've already got the colours. That's sort of hidden around the place. Needs to be a bit more creamy. It's a smaller brush.
Josie says he's beautifully shiny, so not figuring out, not being gender specific there.
Right. Oh yeah, it could be a lady called Keith.
Yeah.
A lady dolphin. That's always possible. Keep loading the brush up.
Something could actually be one that we revisit week on week whilst it deflates.
Yeah. Okay. Blue, let's have a bit there. Ah, extra paint on there. I didn't want. That'll do it. Okay, back to that reflection colour. Yeah. Use the red for dark again. I keep seeing it. A stupid grin on his face. You really can't make their mind up with the music over there. Yeah, okay, I think that's pretty much done. I'll put a bit of extra blue under there. And is that it? Any other bright highlights? Oh no, there's one last bright highlight. And it's going to be a pinky highlight. There's a whole blob of that. And I'll sneak a little bit of yellow in there as well. That's because I am well cheeky. That can go under that. I have a little bit of that in there. So travel across. Yeah. Well, that's on there. Yes. Okay, I could get too carried away here, couldn't I? Yeah, I think that's nearly done. Get a bit of grey into that. And then last thing is we'll put a blob of white on it. It's the only place where I'm going to put pure white. And I need another piece of tissue because I'm rushing. Don't rush. It'll get done. Okay, no, it's not there. There's some of these pinks need attending to. Specifically here. There's little party of lights around the underneath. I mean, again, I don't know what the reflections are like from the camera angle. That's okay, that's okay. Leave that alone. Green, green grass at home.
Am I going to have to tell you to stop filling?
Probably, yes. Okay. Right, so final bright highlight. This is pretty much a pure white going on here, but it needs it. Get there.
Surely it's got to be signed in pink as well, isn't it?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Anything else? Anything else for the bright white? I think that's... I think that's there. Not overly happy with the reflection bit, but actually I'm going to leave that because it does its job. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty much 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit over.
How
2
much?
hours 5.
Oh, well, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time's relevant anyway, so.
Yes, it's a abstract concept.
I think that's really fun.
Well, I had a good time doing it. I got quite absorbed in that, but it's definitely a shiny balloon, isn't it?
That is it.
It doesn't take many hints to get you to see that. Which is, you know, if this was just a little bit more abstract, people would be saying, "What on earth is that?"
Yeah, it's on the cusp, isn't it?
What is that even meant to be? Well, so shall we have a? Oh, let's do a little close-up wander around. Beer.
So what do we all think of Keith? Let us know. I've been racking my brains for 2 hours to try and think of dolphin puns, and I can't get them.
Okay. There's my Tardis teapot. There's not much to that.
I really like the shadow underneath the teapot. It's so simple but works really well.
And there, tethered onto it, is a kind of airship. Yes. This stupid grin.
It is looking over you.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
Yeah. Here's the thing I can do actually. If you turn it on its side, it zooms in. fun, isn't it? Anyway, well, I will. I'll look forward to seeing who we have sitting next week. We'll be back to a portrait again. And oh, look, they are all packing up already.
They are, yeah.
It's a good job I didn't do the outside. There you go. Yeah, so I'll keep the balloon.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be with us for the next few sessions. Maybe I'll get our sitters to hold it a bit.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Well, that's been a lot of fun. Thank you again, Graham.
No, that's all good.
Always,
It's a lot of fun.
It's a great help. And there, I've had my comeuppance today. I had a moment of arrogance, thinking I'd seen all the dolphins, and I haven't seen all the dolphins. Never seen a pink dolphin. I thought, pink dolphin, that's ridiculous. I bring it back. I find out there's pink dolphins. My mind is blown. My worldview is completely undermined at its very foundations. I don't even know who I am, where I am anymore. What universe is this? None of it makes any sense. So hopefully I'll regain a new sense of self by the end of it.
Exactly.
During the week.
Cool. Thanks everybody for joining us. Like I say, we should have another portrait next week. Don't know it yet, but there will be someone.
We'll get someone. There might be gaffer tape to the chair.
Yeah.
But they'll be there.
They'll be there. I need to wrestle up. But thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Toodaloo.